Hello, everyone. Arsenal Fan Circle here. It is the Sunday show. I'm calling this one what? Arsenal move like Ruthless FC. And it's a good time to be an Arsenal fan. Listen, we suffered in January. The club painfully didn't do anything in January. But I don't know if it's good that that happened in January. Well, we'll always have that revisionist history of looking back at what happened in January. But definitely, we moved a lot of players out, wage bill reduced, and we're making moves now. Yeah, we're making moves. Matt here is going to join us, but in the house already. Let's say Matt and Gary came in at the same time, and Tony just joined us because Tony is that diva.
I'm used to starting late, so
No, you should not be. No, that is not the way it works.
it is
Not the way it works.
No.
That's the
Do
way
you
it
know,
works
I've
on the
missed
radio
I've missed
show.
this the last couple of weeks. I've missed it.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, it's good to get a fresh perspective. The three of us here have been talking about the secret, not so much secret stuff. It's kind of these transfers, Gary, have been moving very small steps at a time, but it's always in the public eye. And the only one we didn't know about was Fabio Vieira.
Yeah. And before I start coming on that, hello to everybody in the chat. So you ready? Nerd State, Mr. Bundles. What's cooking? It looks like
Fucking
Jesus is cooking. If that's a good thing, I don't know if it's good or bad.
I do
And
cooking.
BX Gunner, Edu is cooking. The man's been on the grill all summer long and cooking up some good meals. So yeah. So now this is a weird transfer. Of all the ones, I know everybody's saying this one could be one of the better ones, if not the best. So yeah, and everything we've been hearing, so a lot of it's been true, right? It's not been false news, but like we've seen in the past, right? So there's still more to come according to Fab. So, and I think we're all expecting that as well. So I think there's one definite, but it's maybe two moves that we can still make, which would complete the, as they say, complete the set. It'd be nice to get two more players and finish up this thing in style.
Who's your
and
10
then
players, Gary? You
yeah.
wanted 10.
Rafinha, Tillmans.
I want 10, but I'm being realistic. That's not going to happen, right? So, yes, what I want, what can happen are never the same, right?
Good. We finally convinced him of that, Tony.
No, what do you mean? I've always been a realist on this thing.
All right, cool.
Right? I said we need 10. I never said we're going to get it in one window. Come on, stop.
What you want and what you get is two different things.
Good times ahead, Gary. Matt, I'm going to go to you next, and then Tony, because Matt, we've all thought this, but I have this ringing in my ears. You wanted to sprinkle some magic dust around this squad. And before we go to you, Matt, breaking news from Fabrizio Romano: Gabriel Jesus is 100% done. Agent fees all done, and Gabriel Jesus is an Arsenal player till 2027. So I think a 5-year contract, and yeah. He's getting paid a decent wage per week, but 4-time Premier League winner. So Matt, take it away, and then I'll go to Tony. The sprinkling dust starting to happen, Matt.
Yeah, definitely. I'll go away for 2 weeks, and this is what happens. I should go away more often. It's been mad. I've come back from a work trip where I've been away for a couple of weeks, and I've had very limited ability to jump on Twitter and catch up with what's going on. So obviously my phone's been going absolutely nuts and trying to catch up with all the news. And I've just seen obviously these deals coming through. We're obviously been very active, which is great. Like Gary said, we haven't sat on our laurels. We haven't done the usual Arsenal thing of waiting until the end of summer to kind of cram in an emergency deal last week of the summer. So they seem to have actually had a plan. So when they've said, we do have a plan, we know what we're doing, we know the players that we want to target. We know the type of players that we want. Do you know what? You have to say fair play. I think that's actually true. I think, everything that they've said in terms of, the profile of player, what they want to get, and this whole thing around January last year of not going and rush and panic buying players and waiting until the right time in summer where we can actually get the players we do need and want is paying off. Didn't see Fabio Vieira coming from anywhere. That was fair play to the club for keeping that under wraps, because I don't think anybody had a sniff of that. I didn't see that coming out from any source anywhere until it was kind of announced. So fair play, and that's great to see. Obviously, Tillemans was on the radar, and that hasn't really kind of come off yet. But obviously, Jesus has been on the back burner and on people's minds for quite some time. So really, really happy to see that one finally get done now, because I think that's going to be filling a spot in the team which we've desperately needed to address, and where we really struggled. I think personally, I've got a really good gut feeling about Jesus in this team. I think he's really going to bag a good number of goals. I think we've got enough creativity, particularly if we do get Rafinha off over the line. I think that's going to be quite an exciting front line, and I think he will get goals. I know his scoring record for City has been a bit kind of not hit and miss, because he can absolutely finish, and he's proven that. I think he scored 4 goals in one game towards the end of the season, but he hasn't really had the consistent game time with the squad they've got. I think, given that he'll be a star man for us, he's going to bag a good number of goals, and I think we'll have the creativity behind him to do that. You look at the number of balls that Odegaard, etc., will put through for him, and we haven't had someone to finish them until now. I think he's clinical enough to be able to put those chances away. So very excited about him. I think obviously we've had then Martinez, I think, is another one, the Ajax defender that we're looking at, and apparently that's going to be coming over the line at some point, which again is he looks very, very good. I can't say that I know of him hugely, but from what I've read and seen, he seems to be a very kind of adaptable, versatile player. Again, fits the mould of what we're after. Apparently very, very good on the ball. So again, very much an Arteta type player. So it's very exciting. We're making all the right moves. So yeah, we're starting now to see a bit of squad depth, which is what we want, and quality. And like I said, that sprinkling of stardust that we needed. You look at Jesus, for example, young player, but look at what he's won at City. Look at that experience of being around those types of players, and in that changing room, and what he's won. So that can only help our team. So it's very, very exciting. I think we're doing good things. All these jokes about Edu and kind of, barbecuing over the summer and what he's doing. He's been a very busy boy this year. So long may it continue.
Listen, as long as he gets the targets in the door, he can barbecue all he wants. And as BX Stunner said, got the AirPods on, frozen margarita in one hand, flipping Brazilian barbecue with the other. Yeah, Tony, we're making the right kind of moves, and we've now 100%. For those of you who come in late, Fabrizio Romano has tweeted, Gabriel Jesus is 100% done. Here we go, right, Tony?
Yeah, he's a little late to it. Seeing earlier that Gabriel would be announced tomorrow. We'll find out if that part's true or not.
Yeah, it's 100% done. The only thing that is needed to be done now is a medical, and most medicals are, routine.
I think what I heard the medical was done like Friday. It's not being done this week.
I saw something also that just said Tuesday is when it's going to happen, and the announcement probably won't come until Friday. So
who knows?
So there's lots of
Friday of this week
out there on the street.
the PR machine will roll into gear with that one as well.
And I'll have 15 Brazilians calling each other.
Listen, I'm not against it. If Edu is our Brazilian contact, it couldn't be a better country that you're going to be able to get players from. Arteta obviously has a part in this as well, with Gabriel Jesus knowing the player. I'm sure they've been racking up the minutes on the phone, talking over the weeks as well. And this is something we can't say we got one over Tottenham or Chelsea, because it was always going to be a link. Jesus and Arteta being Brazilian, and Edu as well. So Gabriel Jesus, power puncher brothers. Gabriel Jesus should have went to Burnley, but we didn't bid for him, so Arsenal got him. If Burnley bid for Gabriel Jesus, we would have got him, since we have way more ambition than Arsenal. We missed out. No offense, but we are better than Arsenal at the moment in the Championship. You'll probably finish higher than us in the Championship. That's for sure, right, Gary?
Yeah. If that's the comparison, you guys got us beat. You have a better chance of finishing first than we do, for sure. And then, so yeah.
Well said, Mr. Tom.
Yeah, Mr. Tom is happy you are where you are. So because his team is where he would like them to be. So yeah, You see now you're seeing all this stuff coming out about his goals per minute and all of this, and I'm looking at it going, based on where we are right now, he is better than what we've got. So it's not as bad as they're all making it out to be. And does he need to score as much with that team? No, I don't think that's, they've got more than enough weapons. He's going to be our best weapon, I think, coming in. And if he gives us anywhere close to what he's done over the last number of years, we'll be happy, and he'll have more opportunities to do it. And I think we'll put him in more situations to do that as well. So, yeah, it should be a lot of fun. If we'll see, we'll see what Arteta does, but it should, as I say, this one should be an easy one. You've got a guy who likes to put the ball in the net. You just put him in those positions to do it, and we should be good.
Yeah. So. You stack all of his games together. He's played 225 games for Manchester City, 88 goals and 36 assists. Yeah. So 124 goal involvements in 225 games. So every other game he's being involved, whether it be goals or assists. And he has never had the opportunity to be the number one striker at Manchester City, and he's done quite well coming on as an impact player and actually playing some games, scoring some goals. So he's got everything set up for him to prosper,
I've got a really good feeling about him, Ray. I've got a really good feeling about him in a red shirt. So, yeah. I think with the added game time and the consistency of games he'll get with the players behind him that we've got, like Odegaard, Saka, Smith Rowe, he's going to be getting chances. So he'll get goals.
Not only that, we're getting players, or we'll get more players that are going to press from the front. Jesus is one of the best forwards in the game at pressing from the front. Odegaard has always been trying to conduct the pressing game with other players are not as good at it. Martinelli will definitely put in the pace that's needed in pressing.
You can't play them all at the same time, Ray.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The best teams don't. The best teams can't play all their best players all the time. You've seen it, right?
Yeah, but hang on, Tony. You said this about Odegaard and Emil Smith Rowe, and look what happened.
Yeah. No, but think about it. Think about it. We're watching the youth have been improving over the last 2 years. We should only expect them to improve again one more year, right?
Yep.
Any improvements that they do, and the fact that now we don't have to depend on them.
Mm-hmm.
If we make the next two moves that I think we're hopefully going to make to fix the middle, to upgrade the middle, and to get another attacker, right? Yep. Then it's all the better. We don't need to lean on them as much as we do, and they're only going to get better in their opportunities. They'll be more clinical, hopefully, in front of goal because they won't be dead on their feet out there, and that's kind of what we saw, right? So
we have got lots to get into in relation to all of this, and definitely we'll be here for the next 90 minutes or so to do that. BX Gunner said, biggest draw is watching the sleeping giant awaken, banter era coming to an end, and fear is going to set into our rivals. We've always been able to win some trophies, but now we need to step into that arena with the big boys. I want to see City may be the powerhouse. Liverpool may have put a lot of eggs into the Darwin Núñez, and their midfield might deplete a little bit. I'm not saying we're going to be first or second, but we need to be looking at third and fourth place consistently this coming season. And the fear of other rivals as well, Tony. Chelsea fans and United fans, they're getting left behind because Ten Hag's just come in to try to restructure things. Todd Bowley's just come into Chelsea, and they're kind of behind the 8 ball, and they need time to get their strategies together, Tony.
Yeah, especially Ten Hag. They've already sold 4 players. Everything kind of going backwards before they can go forward for him. He's got a lot of work to do. They got a shit owner, kind of.
Yeah. Listen,
so
go ahead.
So it's going to be tough for him, but they really don't have any other competitions to worry about, so maybe he can get them focused. He's good with young players, so maybe they'll use some of their academy, get something out of them.
United will be in the same competitions that we're going to be in. They're going to be in the Europa League as well. So yeah, they're going to have to juggle that. I think the United's got a lot more on their plate. Newcastle are making moves, but I don't see them being top 4 material this coming season.
I think they get in Europa.
Yeah,
Europe in general.
possibly a sneak into the Europa. But where do you see, just briefly, Gary, the landscape before we get back into Jesus? I see United, I see Chelsea maybe struggling, and I see Newcastle not quite being there.
Yeah, no, there's a yes and no, right? I mean, if Ten Hag can do what Tuchel did with his team when he first came in, right? It's a little bit of a jolt. They get a little bit of a bump from the management and better coaching, right? So
Yeah.
Yes, it might be they might drop, but I don't know if they're going to drop that much, right? So if we're saying he's a really good coach and a good manager, and we would have liked to have him at Arsenal, then yeah, I suspect he's going to do the best with what he has, and that's what I believe good coaches do, anyways. Right? He may not have his players, but maybe he just has to, he may have to change his ways a little bit just to, cooperate with the talent that he has. Like you said, everybody else I think is going. Everybody else we're looking at is one more year with their manager. Newcastle, they're not making these big moves that I think we thought they were going to do, but they were playing good at the end of the season. There's nothing to say they won't continue to do that.
They're going to be a decent team, and we didn't play well away at Newcastle. We all know that.
Did we play?
Difficult.
Yeah, and if Chelsea gets Sterling, then right, they get the man that they're looking for up top as well, right? So. Yeah, hello everybody to the chat. I see some new people joined us.
Listen,
Taib is in there. Alex is in there.
We appreciate all of you. We know you have choices out there, and we appreciate you being with us here, talking about breaking news from Fabrizio Romano, basking in the glory of getting Gabriel Jesus. I would say a reduced price as well. Mr. Tom also basking in the glory of still being in the Premier League, wishing Burnley good luck at Huddersfield in the opening weekend. Leeds have that week off, seeing as we survived the ambition to survive, some may say, and they're going to get probably a lot of money to spend as well, and they're already spending it or have spent it. Do you believe Saka will sign a new contract?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
I do too.
No, you don't believe he'll sign a contract, so you think we're going to be selling him?
He's got so many
Not
takes.
this summer.
I think he will. I think it's all about ambition shown by the club. I think he'll want to see us making moves and signing the right kind of players to show ambition. So I think if he sees enough of that, then I think he will do. I think if we'd have rested on our laurels and not really done much this summer, then I think he would have second-guessed it maybe and maybe thought about moving on. But so far, I think showing what we're doing and we're making moves, I think he would be encouraged by that to sign, for sure.
The biggest question on that is if he does sign, what's the buyout clause? Because it's going to be in there. How low does he want it to be?
That's if they put one in, right? Everybody thinks they have to put one in. Everybody thinks they have to put one in. Why? Why do they have to put one in? They don't. I mean, it helps him out, but it's not something Arsenal would want to do.
Not in Europe at all.
Difficult. Well, listen, we'll have time to talk about Saka. I don't want to get bogged down in Saka too much, but I do think if you want to keep your best
players, that's our most important signing of the summer.
If you want to, no, that's not. It's not.
Yeah, it is.
If you want to keep your best players, you convince them by bringing better players.
That's the first thing we said at the end of this season is we want to keep our players. We have to show that we want to keep them by boosting up the quality of the players on the squad.
Correct.
We're doing that, and now you're saying, because we're doing that, he's gonna go. You can't have one. It can't be. I mean, come on. I mean, I know where you're going, Tony, but this is the moves that Arsenal needs to make. If he doesn't want to be part of it, yes, they're going to sell him. And that's why I always say I'm Arsenal first, not Saka first and Arteta first.
I'm thinking, Gary, giving Tony his own section called Tony's Takes. And you can put something in the middle of like Tony's blank takes.
Yeah. I'm going to say his little swinging takes is what I'm saying on that.
You should hear my new one on Eddie and Cody.
Alex in the house.
Oh,
Thanks
look
for
at
joining
this.
us, Alex. Moving
Uh,
right like Ruthless FC, not quite ready. The window is not yet closed, and the new season hasn't yet started. 7 out of 10 for the window so far. If we were to get Rafinha and to get Tielemans, maybe that's a better score than 7 out of 10.
And you
still have a
forget that we
giant
still have
hole, right?
Martinez as well, right? So
Yes. I keep forgetting
Still
about
got a
him.
giant hole.
That would be an absolutely solid window, I think. If we did all of that, I think that would be a pretty solid window.
Mahir has joined us as well. Welcome, Mahir.
What's
Mahir.
happening, everybody in the
Hello
chats?
there.
Welcome to the panel. The host, hi there. Hi there. Good
Hello.
to see you.
Slap a like on the live stream. Really do appreciate it. We've got 20 of you watching right now. And great news. Fabrizio Romano. We knew about this, but Gabriel Jesus is 100% done now, Mahir. So your thoughts on Jesus coming in to lead the line?
Oh, yes. I mean, after getting rid of Oba, stupid decision anyway. Arteta out. Arteta out. And getting rid of Lacazette, I mean, Lacazette's time has came, basically. I don't agree with Eddie Nketiah being given the number 40, number 14 jersey now?
14.
Number 14 jersey.
Yeah.
And new contract, I do not agree with it. That's disgusting attitude. I did speak to Ray earlier in the week, and I did tell him that is totally unacceptable. But Gabriel Jesus, hopefully welcome soon. And then now we're just not going to go get a second striker, which is disappointing. But maybe Yuri Tielemans, I don't know, maybe Neves or another midfielder.
I'm laughing because listen, I don't want to have a podcast full of people who are all on board. We want to have differing views, and Mahir and myself differ on a few things.
That's why the chemistry is so good amongst all of us, because we all speak our minds as is, no flip-flops, no nothing. It's just real talk coming from the supporters,
I will
coming from the Arsenal fan
Mahir
fam.
just said Eddie's another Chelsea reject. That's what I heard.
The only thing I will say, Mahir, is I predicted Arsenal. I was optimistic last season. I predicted we would get 6th place. Well, we got 5th, so I was being optimistic can sometimes be rewarding as well. You know.
Can I do one of my takes now?
Mr. Tom's just asked why the number's a problem. Well, Thierry Henry was on number 14.
Yes, sir.
For many, it's got a legendary status for that reason. But
yes, sir.
Do you know what? I can see why, but it's just a number. I don't hang up on that too much personally. I just think, do you know what? Yes, there is a certain aura that goes with certain numbers, with certain legends at the club. You know, obviously your Bergkamps, your Adams, your Thierry, Ian Wright. But you know what? Players are going to come and go. They're going to fill those squad numbers. It's a squad number. Yep. It's no big deal. You know,
I can say, Matt, with some certainty that I've seen some of the best players at Arsenal. We will never probably reach those heights again. Patrick Vieira, Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp, Tony Adams. You know, we're never going to see those.
Yeah, but you know, but you say that, but then you got to. Over how many years did you see those players? Did they all play together? Some of them didn't, right? Some of the best players at Arsenal did not play with Henry. So it's a cycle. It's a big club. You know, I say enjoy the ride, as I always like to say, right? You got some good players. Will they turn out to be the best? We don't know, but we're going to enjoy it while we can. So
look, we know Eddie. We know Eddie's not going to be Thierry Henry, right, Gary?
But but for me, the number, the reason why the number is a little bit is because he doesn't need the added pressure as it is. I mean, I know he reads the tea leaves out there of the fandom, the fans, and how they feel about him and stuff like that. So he wants it. Show me, all right? You want it because it comes with pressure putting that shirt on, all right? The last person that wore it, he scored 20 goals for Arsenal for a couple of years and then dropped off. So, you know, and everybody was happy to see him go. So there you go, right? So I say, you know what? You want the pressure? Show me why. You know, because he said he wants minutes. Hopefully he'll get the minutes, and we'll see how that goes. Yeah, Arsenal has this, this thought process of always creating, new contracts to increase the worth of their players, and I don't agree because they don't do a good job of after signing the player making sure that worth sticks. Right?
Mhm.
Usually turns out you go, damn, is he gonna ever play? Right? So we'll see. Hopefully he
Eddie
gets to
was never
play.
good enough for Leeds. How is Eddie good enough for us,
It
though?
wasn't good enough for Chelsea.
Just because
He
of
was at
a
Chelsea for 7 years.
Well,
never
one
mind
second.
even
1
never
second.
mind a Chelsea flop. An
Kai
all-around
Akira
legend.
Regan, welcome to the podcast, Kai Akira Regan. So
Shout out to everybody in the
hopefully,
chats.
hopefully, I did justice to your name. If you're not subscribed, please think about
Yakua,
subscribing.
vegan.
All of you, stamp. What do you do? Stamp your boarding pass for the flight. Come on, hit that like button. All right, so Lacazette, my here. We've replaced you with Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, sorry,
Player
I'm
who's
just
going to be able to do a lot more than you were doing in midfield and in the forward line.
look. I'm sorry that I did not in the last few years live up to expectations, but
You played in the
know,
wrong position. Sorry.
Let the man talk. He's been he put a shirt on. Have you? All right. Let the man talk.
I was supposed to be your my for the late run into years. I make a lot of late runs, but I came in high
earned subs.
expectations, and I sorry for all of you Gunners. I'm always Gunner, once a Gunner, always a Gunner, and you hopefully see me, Leon, score a few goals here and there. But I'm sorry to disappoint you guys in the last few seasons. I'm really sorry. That's all I can say.
Eddie Steady Go says Taib. Tony, we've now signed Gabriel Jesus, a player who can do so much more than Lacazette did for us in the last few years.
Maybe. There's a
You
lot
have
of
all
link
these
up
things
plays.
to say when my hair's talking, and then I go to you, and you don't have much to say.
I'm not convinced by the guy.
But you're not convinced by Gabriel Jesus.
No, I'm not.
Who do-
Tony,
who
can
would
I ask you a
what
quick
striker would
question?
you
8
want?
goals and
What striker would you
1,500
want?
Yeah.
Because I know this isn't even what we
He
where we
played
want to go. But let's
1,500
hear
minutes
it.
and he
Let's
got
hear
8
it.
goals.
Who?
He played 1,500 minutes and got 8 goals.
Who would you like in his place?
The
We're
guy
talking
that
about
would have came
Gabriel.
for about the same price.
We're
Who?
talking about
other-
Jesus.
I
the
can't
other
hear the man.
Martinez?
Sorry, I don't know. What do you say?
The other Martinez.
Oh,
We're going
The
after
one that we
wrong
can't get?
Argentine.
That's the
Yeah,
one you
we
want us to
can't
go
get him
get?
though. We
I
can't
hear
get
what
him
you.
though.
You might as well just say Messi because that's how close we are to getting him as well. Not at all.
He's out the door. They're bringing
He's not
Lukaku
coming
back.
here.
They need money.
Arsenal, you gotta know. What do they say? You gotta know your place, right? We're not gonna be able to get those players right now. I wish we could. They're not
I wish
coming.
we could also go get Lautaro Martinez.
They're not
He would
This
be
is
my
He's
first
available
target.
for 60 million euros.
No, but they're not coming.
this
It doesn't
is
matter how much. We
It's
could
a
have got
World
Haaland
Cup
for that
year.
price, but he's
you can
not
get
coming.
some players to come if you don't have Champions League.
They're not coming.
No, you can't get them
Even if
without
we got-
Champions League.
Even if we got Champions
Aubameyang,
League, who says they're coming as well?
Ozil.
I don't think they're coming either. We're not there yet. That's for me. That's fine because we've seen the worst. Hopefully, we've seen the worst, and we're moving in the right direction. Right. We're trending upwards. Right. Regardless of whether you think we're going fast enough.
What happens when he
trending up-
breaks his leg in September? and we're
That
stuck
could
with
happen
Eddie
to
as our
that could
number
happen
2?
to Lautaro. Well, then what? You're in the same boat.
Well, it's profile of the player as well, because you think about the type of players that they're going for. Jesus is bang on the
well said,
money.
Gary.
Bang on the money.
Yeah.
Well said,
And-
Gary.
But it's still the
and
point.
guys, I would
we
also-
have a shit number 2.
Oh, a
Don't
striker.
when Tony goes like this.
No.
Don't, Tony.
Do you
I don't
want to go to
disagree.
Anfield with
Yeah.
Eddie leading your line?
No,
Yeah, but
no.
we all. I think
We're
we
not
all
talking
wanted. We
about
all
it.
wanted
We're
two
talking about
strikers.
Jesus.
I think we all wanted two strikers, but Arsenal has shown that they don't follow our lead, right?
No.
All right.
So-
They're
They don't
gonna
listen
be
to us.
Totally screwed with 2 strikers.
This is comment of the day so far from Mr. Tom. Glenn, wasting your internet data on Tony. That's dedication.
Wow. Glenn, I'm sorry. Let's not waste any more. Tony, bye.
Tom is dedicated is leading on the comment of the day so far. I feel the same about Saka. Controversial, I know. Nerdscape.
Yeah, we should have a comment of the pod as well. Power punches, bros.
Okay, so let's get back on track here. We were talking about Gabriel Jesus. Gary, he's going to score more goals for us, and he's going to raise the numbers. I told Mahir this earlier in the week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Numbers.
If he played, for example, if he played the same way he played last year, we'll be better for that. No problem, because we're going to have better guy up front. We're going to have a younger player up front who's going to put pressure on the back line consistently, not every once in a while we see it. So as a whole, I think everything around him will get better. He'll have a lot of young players running towards him as he gets the ball. He'll make the runs. They're going to make the passes. I mean, we're getting younger. We're getting younger up top for sure, also. Right? So we're going to take that. I mean, you saw what Nketiah did when he played right towards the end of the season. Now you've got a better player who can do a similar thing, right?
Yeah.
And he's much better. He's played in tougher games, so.
How would you guys feel?
The bar has been set pretty low from last season.
Yeah. So I think look where we finished.
We're probably taking 4 games to beat that total.
Yeah, now here you had a question. You had a poser for us. A question.
Yes, I've got a question for you guys. A very realistic, beautiful question, actually. How many goals do you guys think Gabriel Jesus is getting in the season that he's possibly joining us?
Are you talking about overall or in the Premier League?
Overall. No, not overall. In the league.
Which one?
The Premier League.
You just said both, League. So you confused her.
Sorry.
the Premier League. I'm just gonna say he's a 10-10 man for me. So if he gives us 10-10, I think we'll be happy with that, and I think
he's
he can
perfect.
do
that. He's a perfect 10 for Gary. What about you, Matt?
How many goals he's going to get next season?
You can say league, and then you can say overall. Give 2 answers.
Ooh. The thing is, Lacazette never beat anything more than, say, 15 or 16. He's better than a Lacazette in his. I'd say 18.
Okay, perfect.
18 in the league, and overall
23, 24.
Okay, that's not bad. That's a 20-goal striker right there. Tony, you can do. We won't hold anyone to this because we're going to do predictions toward the end of the window, or when the season starts. But we're not going to obviously hold anyone accountable. So you can speak freely, Tony.
10 and 22.
10 goals in the league and 22 overall. So you think he's going to play a lot of cup games? Mahir?
I'm going with 12 and 24.
Okay. 12 and 24.
Very optimistic.
For what it's worth, I think you'll get probably 15 goals in the league and probably about 21, 22 overall. So
I'm going to say 25-20 for me for in all games.
In all games.
Yeah.
Okay. Stephen, I ran a poll on Twitter last time. A lot of people were choosing 15 to 20 league goals for Jesus.
That's good numbers.
Very reasonable.
That'd be ideal.
Went in 1993. Tell me something new, young man. The Burnley connection here. Arsenal so overrated. You think they can slash me for supporting a club in the championship? Don't forget, we turn your stadium into our dance floor. No, big up Burnley.
We weren't slashing you. I wasn't slashing you.
Hang on a minute. He came in here slashing us.
I know. I don't.
We didn't say anything to him until he started.
You said we said you would finish higher in your table than in the table we're in.
I think shots were fired across our bow first.
Burnley always give us a very, very tough game. 2 games every season, and kind of like we will have different challenges. Let's say next season, and Nottingham Forest will probably give us a difficult game as well. All right, so what we're going to get as well, Matt, we'll keep going on Jesus for a little bit. fantastic movement as well. This ties in a little bit to what Lacazette couldn't do. Great movement. He's going to be able to take players away and open up avenues for our wingers as well.
Yeah, it's all about that kind of fluid front line, being able to interchange movement, like I say, creating spaces, runs. We haven't had that. Aubameyang stopped doing that. As soon as that stopped, we really struggled because Lacazette was quite immobile, didn't have the pace, very good at holding up the ball, but couldn't really make those runs behind, couldn't create space for others. So, yeah, it's going to be a much more kind of fluid, high press. He's obviously very good, as you said earlier, with pressing from the front, which I think Arteta will really like, and that will benefit us and put teams under pressure a lot. I think it's going to be quite exciting, and like somebody in the chat has said, if we get Rafinha as well, that it's going to be quite an exciting front line to watch.
Yeah.
Lots of creativity, and obviously with Vieira as well in midfield. It's going to be exciting, I think, this season. To see us going forward, we're going to start creating a little bit more and looking a bit more threatening, rather than kind of getting to the 18-yard line and kind of fluffing our lines.
Yeah. Goals coming from left foot, more goals coming from right foot, and he can score from ahead as well, Gary. So we're getting a player here, and look at the price, 45 million, not bad at all.
No, I think it's less than what initially it was. We thought it was going to cost us. So
they wanted about 65, 70.
Yeah.
That's way too much.
Yeah,
way too much.
So I think we did good there.
He's valued about 35. Is what he's valued.
Yeah, but those values mean absolutely nothing. We know that. We know that, right? Willock's value was not 25 when we sold him, was it? So
Guys, why
So-
is
About
Jesus
20.
45 with 1 year left on his contract? That doesn't make any sense.
I think
either.
that's what it's worth. Really, that's like the market.
Right.
That's like the market value, but it's not what it costs because of all the other things that it entails, right? You get a striker before his time, and they don't need.
He's
to
at
sell him.
45 in all,
They
with
don't need to
wages
sell
and
him.
everything.
Yeah,
No, plus 10, 45 plus about 10 and add on. So rising to 55 if you want to be more
yeah.
irritated.
Okay, so
about it.
55 in all.
Well,
Okay.
as Gary's
That's way
saying,
too much.
not the same class of player, but Darwin Núñez, Liverpool overplayed in my opinion for Darwin Núñez, but that's going rate
Yeah.
for those kind of players. And
Yeah, I mean top striker.
Gary, he's not gonna score 20 goals like maybe Darwin will do, but for 5 or 6, 7 goals less, 50 million is not bad at all.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? Who's to say Darwin Núñez kicks it off either? I mean, we'll see. It might be a little bit tough for him as well. I mean, we keep saying that the Premier League is a tougher league to play in. So, just because you're playing a team at the bottom of the table doesn't mean it's going to be an easy day for you, as the top 2 teams showed us towards the end of the season, right? No easy ones, and there's always going to be a bogey team that gets you no matter what you do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's Premier League's tough, but yeah, no.
So Russ is not believing, but is Jesus on the website? No, if not, you don't believe it, but maybe you believe in Fabrizio Romano because he has just tweeted about the deal being 100% done. Jesus till 2027, 5-year contract. Get to the numbers. I'm sure the numbers guy Tony wants to speak about that. Over 200,000 a week.
Well, Fab said yes, and Charles Watts has also said yes. So
220.
What
next
is
I
it,
guess
Pete?
is Ornstein, right? And then everybody will be happy, right? Once Ornstein
Well,
says,
some
What is
people
it?
want to see that shirt held up as
What
well.
is it?
once
220
Ornstein says
or
it, it comes. You know whose
225 a week?
voice he's talking for, all right? Who's the puppet master, right? When he says what he says. So, yeah.
Tony, do the numbers make sense for you?
I think it's a little much to start off with. I'd rather see a 4-year deal to begin with than 5.
Well, it's when you say 5-year deal, it's really for 3 years because then you get to 2 years and you have to do something.
Yeah, but we never do something in 2 years.
Never. Well, what's never? We have to start doing it. We have to start doing
We've
it.
started to now.
Mm-hmm.
We have got better. The last season or 2, we have got better.
We have.
But yeah,
We waited
previously
until the end of the
Bro.
season to
Contenders.
sign
And
Eddie.
we'll get on to Rafinha in a little bit, but the proof in the pudding will be selling Pepe for a reasonable amount of money. So
Yeah,
you pay a lot for Rafinha and you
at
get
least
maybe half
30.
that back for Pepe, so then you end up paying 30, 40 million in reality for a Rafinha. BX Gunner said, I hate to admit it, but for me, Saka should be starting left wing back. If we land Rafinha, we'll have a stronger starting 11. I would like
Yeah,
to see him
possibly.
on the left wing, not the left wing back.
I've always
Yeah.
said, just if you can put your best players on the pitch, you'll be better for it. All right.
Yeah.
And he's one of your best. Like if you have, sometimes it doesn't matter because they can play everywhere and anywhere, right? So if you've got athletes, which we do, like Saka can play anywhere. It does, yes, we don't want him to be a journeyman in terms of positions, but if you said, you know what, we need to get the points or we need to move ahead, let's go with our best 11. I think he's part of your best 11, regardless of where you put him on the pitch, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Get them all on the team and get them playing. Stephen wants.
You know what I would see as well?
Yeah.
I would also see. How do you guys feel about maybe an experiment of Martinelli and Jesus up front as a two? Ooh.
Sure. Yeah. Why not? I mean, there's going to be situations. Maybe we can try that out. I think Arteta's married to 4-3-3 right now, but let's not get too much into formations, Tony.
Yeah.
Even-
Sorry, I'm just getting a bit excited.
The movement would be
he
scary.
called somebody. You called somebody Tony.
No, I
Hey,
called
Gary,
Tony.
let me talk.
I called Tony.
Let you talk. Go ahead, talk, Tony. What do you got to say?
Hold on a second. The Arsenal Misfits.
Yes. Didn't
Does
set
my
myself
head in.
on fire.
I was a man at only worth 35 million plus add-ons. I have to believe there's some kind of relationship there with Bayern that they got Thiago. Liverpool got Thiago one direction, and there may have been some kind of an agreement.
He
Down
had
the
a
line.
year left on his contract. That's why.
Yeah, so does Jesus.
And we're overpaying for him.
Yeah, it's the English tax.
Basuma was 20 million, bro.
No, but that's like
Guys,
a law tax.
Plus baggage.
It's a courtroom tax. I mean, come on.
Plus baggage, right, Gary?
It goes either up or down depending on what kind of tax it is, right? I mean, he's worth a lot more, but not with the cloud over his head. So
I also believe Basuma's character has to be called in question as well. There's a couple of DUIs in there, a couple of offenses that not only Arsenal
that we shall not mention because it's quite bad.
There was only really Tottenham and Villa in for Basuma. Liverpool didn't go in. A lot of other teams didn't go in for Basuma, and there had to be.
Do you guys know what will be funny? If it's not actually a funny. The case is very, very serious. But I'm saying what would be funny is if the player was banned due to all of that and he can't play for Tottenham.
That would be very good. That would be very good.
I'm sure teams have investigated what went on.
it doesn't mean much, right?
They
do all this investigation, but if they can get their play to play, they don't really care.
Yeah.
Well, it's classless players, but classless club.
Yeah.
My hair's gone. Okay. He went for an early shower, so he arrives late in the box for those goals, but he has to leave for a shower toward the end of the game when it's 20 minutes to go or whatever. Gary, 20 games to impress. A lot of these. Tony said January would be the big moving window for a lot of these players for a World Cup upcoming. Tony may not have been right. It seems it might have been summertime.
Yeah. But one player we could have got said he did move because of a World Cup, and that's Bruno Guimaraes.
Okay, one player.
I thought it would be more. I really did.
It does seem summertime now, and what we're looking at, Gary, I'll start off with Gary and go around, is we have players who have 20 games to impress now to get into the World Cup squads. Pretty much 20-some games.
Yeah, I mean, it's like this is to me. It's like a yes and a no because if this was January, and all these moves, I kind of feel like you kind of have a gauge as to what you're gonna get. All right, we always see these players play in the Premier League and then they play in the play for their countries and they play much better. So as long as they're healthy and they're not screwing up, they're on the cusp. I don't know. Do we have any players on the cusp? Right, most players have been established for a little while with their teams. I mean,
There's some in the periphery.
Martinelli's won a gold with his team, so I would say he's somewhat established there. Tomiyasu definitely, Partey. I mean, who's on the ESR is on the line, but he's just starting, so he has to play, but he's not ready yet. That's fine. I think that's fine for where he is in his career.
Look at the players.
Ramsdale's only just pushing in, isn't he?
Yeah. I feel like they have some
out
ends, but they don't.
Performances. So I think Ramsdale's kind of pushed himself out after his performances.
Yeah, I don't think England in general looked good. Even to some degree, Pickford didn't look so good, and when he played, so I kind of felt like that was just a really bad set of games for England in general. Can he turn that around just so that they at least come into they finish off the next two games and look decent enough to say, if I've got something to build on. So, because what are you going to look at the England squad and tell me who actually played well?
There's no shining star, was there?
Right. So the fact that he wasn't the number one, anyways, right? He was fighting for two, definitely, right? So. Is he dropping that much? I don't know. We'll see how he does this season. He's going to get more, some good chances with a good defense, hopefully, in front of him.
December, the only thing I said is Arsenal passed on Bissouma because of those situations. If the club bought him, hey, I'm like any other supporter, but I would be asking questions as well.
No.
Absolutely. You get as a player, Bissouma is excellent, and he's the type of player that would probably thrive at Arsenal. But as soon as you get accusations like that, court cases, all those kind of things of that nature, turns me right off a player. You don't need that at your club. You don't need all the baggage that comes with it, the potential issues that come with it. No, there's other players available. Yeah. Leave well alone.
Yeah, and if Bissouma was picked up by Arsenal, we'd be saying the same thing. We risk him not playing at all, or missing out a large chunk of games. So
we would be worried about the upcoming.
Exactly, yeah.
There's
plenty of players out there for that kind of money that you can go and get a decent return on. So, no.
Yeah.
It's just more the risk. It's like a player coming off a broken leg, right? You hope he comes back healthy, but you don't know, right? So it's a similar thing. So I kind of feel like that's where we are.
Yeah,
here's being a little topsy-turvy there.
Tony, we were talking about some of the players, that want to break into their World Cup teams, but Rafinha is one of them, and Gabriel Jesus is another one who wants to really secure his place playing for Arsenal. We're going to get the benefit of a player who's really determined to get into the World Cup and be the one of the choices in the starting 11 for Brazil.
Yeah, but there's also a drawback to that, though. If we got Gabriel, you have Jesus, Martinelli's kind of a little fringe player. Rafinha would definitely be playing. All those players are going to be leaving probably 2 weeks before the actual break. So there's 4 weeks they're going without them there. If they go deep into the World Cup, it'll probably be 3 weeks after New Year's before they're back. So there's 7 weeks you got to fill in. And who do you got to fill in? You got Eddie and Claudia leading the line.
You think they're going to be gone 2 weeks before before the season stops?
Before
when they come back.
When has Saka never played the game right before he goes on international break? He plays every time, so I'm not expecting any different. What's the difference? Nothing.
You've never had a World Cup in the middle, Gary.
No, it's not that. I'm talking about when they go away for they don't take breaks. I just don't think they're going to take a break. And do you want them to take 2 weeks off? You're not going to. You want them to be ready to go when they get in there. Really, all you're doing is, are we all healthy? Good, let's go. Right? I don't see them I don't think you want your players sitting out for a week or two before. I think they need to be in the same rhythm and continue on. It's just now they're playing against some of the best in the world as opposed to playing some of the best in their league. So that's the way I think of this thing. Hello there. See,
Hey,
Helen
Helen.
has joined us. Nick Knack has joined us. Russ, of
Hi,
course,
Helen.
has been in the house.
BX in the
Reassembled.
building.
Yeah.
Shout out to
So,
everybody.
yeah, Mahir, so to round this out, your thoughts on the World Cup, and if when I get to Matt, if you haven't said anything, I've missed anything. So, Mahir, World Cup,
Oh,
Rafinha, he's motivated to come and play.
do you know what? Personally, I don't think we're actually going to get Rafinha. I want to get Yuri Tillemans in. That's another midfield I want. I mean, it's all fair and well if we sell Pepe. And I don't know. I don't actually know if that's gonna be if we're gonna be able to do that to get like even a 20 or 30 and be able to just spend that money on Rafinha and Rafinha come in and bang. Because as far as I'm concerned, I think he's mainly linked to Barcelona. And yeah, he's a quality player. I would take him definitely. But like I'm just saying, Rafinha isn't worth the money. The Helen's saying Leeds are looking for. Leeds are looking for about 60 to 70, and that's way overpriced.
It's a
Same
lot of
like
money.
Gabriel Jesus, like we spoke about. I would have preferred him for us to get him in like 30, 35 at max because he's got 1 year on his contract. And like I said, I wouldn't be opposed to these players coming in because they take us up levels. And then you bring in a Yuri Tillemans. You possibly bring in another quality midfielder such as I would go even go get Ruben Neves. Because these players are
Why,
all 24, 25 coming into their prime
why
and
don't
can
you
do a
just get
great job
Neves
for us
instead of
though.
Tillmans?
Yeah. I would get them both, Tony. We go get them both.
Yeah, it's not an either or situation. We can go get them both.
Yeah, but
Any other
supposedly we're
point?
done with just signing
Any other points to make
Fabio.
on Gabriel Jesus before we transition to the other Brazilian?
Now
Basically,
hopefully we'll soon be getting the
why do you think?
55
Go around
million in
quickly on
total is a lot of
everyone.
money.
Matt, why do you think we were? I mean, it's obvious, right? Why do you think we are in position to have gotten Gabriel Jesus over at Chelsea or Tottenham?
I think the big one is obviously Arteta's previous relationship with him. I think that helps. I think we registered our interest pretty early on as well. I think there were some behind the scenes kind of conversations going on, probably fairly early doors. And obviously, like I say, Arteta will have a sway with him. He's worked with the player before. The player knows him. There's obviously the Brazilian link as well, which helps. There's a lot of factors. The fact that he'll obviously be a starter and will get good game time. He's not going to be a bit part player. So there's a lot of really positive things that we can offer him, as a player at this club, and we're a big club. He gets to stay in a big city, London, which is obviously attractive for a lot of players. He's got other players in the squad, like I say, of the same nationality. So there's a big melting pot of reasons as to why, he'd find that a really positive option. So yeah, I think we were in a really strong position to get him, and thankfully, all that's come together, and we've now done it. So very happy.
Helen hopes Gunners have a better season, but probably not hoping better than Liverpool, right? Gary, anything else that
Yeah. No, I think
makes sense for
he's gonna.
Jesus?
I believe he'll be part of the leadership eventually. Based on where he's coming from and what he can bring to the squad, and also
more
if
experience.
he's got a lot of young players around him who are just going to grow and grow with the process that we've seen. So if he went to that team, right, he's got two old timers there who eventually might be gone, right? But with Arsenal, he's got some young players all around him, and he'll be able to lead them because we've been asking for leadership, right, up top. I mean, he's got experience. He's played in the biggest games. Won what, 4 Premier Leagues?
1-4, yep.
Yep.
And
So I think.
22 cups.
So I think he's.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think he's. That's what we've been looking for. We keep saying we needed some leadership. He's got some of that. We'll see if he can deliver it. But yeah, he'll be a leader for us if it all pans out and works the way I expect it to. So that's another thing we're going to need. He definitely scores goals, and he'll be in a position to do that. So let's see.
Well, I don't think any England fans will be bothered if Southgate goes. And some talk about England getting bounced out early in the group stages. We're fighting to keep Salah, but it looks like he's going as well as Mane. Yeah, it's tough when you have two players like that. We know with Ozil and Alexis Sanchez the situation and what it can create amongst the fan base as well. So I feel like Salah is going to get what he wants up at Liverpool. Just as a quick segue to that, I don't know if it's the same situation as Ozil and Sanchez, but Liverpool maybe in a similar way have to keep one of those players. Um, Segueing a little bit from one Brazilian to another, Tony, these are the kind of players that we always say I wouldn't like to play against them. I didn't like Gabriel Jesus when he was playing against us because he was good and he wouldn't let defenders rest on their laurels. Same thing possibly with Rafinha. These are players that rival fans don't like, and these are the kind of players we need to be signing, Tony.
It's a type of players we need to be signing, but it's going to be a priority signing. Fixing the midfield needs to be the priority. We need at least 2 central midfielders and a defensive midfielder. We haven't got that. Instead, we went and got another number 10. ESR, we got Odegaard. I don't know where Matt sees Fabio playing as he sees him starting. Would I play with 2 8s with Odegaard and him going forward and Party back deeper?
But Tony, do you not think
that?
The centre of midfield, I absolutely agree, needs to be addressed. But I don't know how you can say it's not a priority signing to get a forward when our main striker, or so to speak, Lacazette, Aubameyang.
No, I'm not saying Gabriel. I'm saying
7 goals.
I'm saying Rafinha.
Relying on Emil Smith Rowe and Saka to be bagging goals and making up the full elsewhere. We absolutely need this striker. Crying out for it.
Listen, we had a situation where we had to push Granit Xhaka into that left midfield spot, left 8, just so he couldn't cause damage toward the back of the pitch. We had a situation where we had to push our defenders forward to get goals. We had a situation where we ran Lacazette into the ground. It wasn't producing, and then eventually we had to go to Eddie and Nketiah. We tried everything to generate goals, and here we are. We have a situation where we have
everything.
Proven striker coming in now, and he's going to help us, no doubt about
it. Except for putting Martinelli up front.
The onus is on Eddie Nketiah as well. He's got that 14, and he knows he has to show up next season because guess what? We're just fans. We have a podcast where we talk about it, but we're just fans, and we're going to be holding Eddie accountable to 100,000 a week and that number 14 shirt. Be it fair, be it unfair, Arsenal fans want to see results now, and Mayor, what would be a good season for the Gooners? For me,
I think a good season would for us to win a cup, win the Europa. The Europa and the FA Cup or Carabao Cup would be nice. And then qualify for Champions League via 4th.
Yeah, definitely qualify for Champions League. Be that it should be through the league. But also winning that Europa League as well is something I want to do. Matt?
Yeah, and qualify through the Premier League 4th.
Yeah, exactly.
That's minimal. Because if not, somebody earlier said, if not with the squad, with these players that he's bringing in, he would have spent about 400 million. That's nearly $500 million. And there's no excuses. Absolutely no excuses. I don't know if it was the assembled, if it was knick-knack, but shout out to everybody in the chats. We love y'all. Like I said, we love y'all to the moon and back.
Matt, go ahead on that. What is a successful season next season?
Do you know what? I think an acceptable season would be finishing 4th or above. I think a good season would be finishing top 4 and winning a cup or a domestic cup. And then I think an excellent season would be finishing top 4
Europa.
And winning the Europa. and having a good cup
Yo,
run.
that would be
Yeah.
excellent.
That for me would be our.
Absolutely.
Helen, you had asked us specifically for the first 6 games. I give you the whole 16 right there for the first 6. We have quite easy. We should be with the squad we're assembling.
Palace,
Should be toward the top of the table
tough.
after at the end of September
Fulham,
after
yes.
those 6 games. Palace away, Leicester at home, Bournemouth and Fulham, two
We should be winning that, of
promoted teams, Aston Villa, and I think Man United to round out this 6th game. Gary, a successful season next season?
Well, we need to qualify for Champions League. So either that's a top 4 or that's a trophy, right? We always keep saying I'd rather have a trophy than a top 6 or top 4, depending on what we get into, So now we have an opportunity to get Champions League. We need to get Champions League. However they do it, I think that's fine. If we get Europa, we'll take a Europa Cup and go to the Champions League, and I think we will take that. And if we finish 7th, right, we would take that because we say we get a
We'll
trophy.
take it, but we would like to see, some would like to see progression.
3 years ago, I think we all said we'd rather have the FA Cup win than just to finish in a top position. I think many people have said that. So we always talk about getting
Europa
trophies.
League.
They remember trophies. They don't remember top 4.
Yeah.
All right. So for me, Champions League is what we need. I think you would rather remember winning the Europa League than that we finish top 4. All right. Because we can celebrate a trophy. You don't celebrate top 4, right? It's just an achievement. You made it, but it's not something you go out in the streets and like, oh, we won a
top
trophy.
4 is an entry ticket.
That's not. But I like I said, Champions League is what is priority number 1. How they get there, I prefer it to be a trophy. Right? I prefer it to be a trophy. But like you said, we can get both top 4 and a trophy. That's a great season, right? But Champions League's that's the bare minimum, right? All this money being spent, and we expect the players to be better. We're hoping for a healthier season from our players. All that's got to play, and the World Cup, once again, this is no different than the AFCON. I don't care. We knew about the World Cup 4 years ago. So you can't say, well, the World Cup's coming, so now that's a negative. That's why we didn't make it. Nah. It's the same thing we just did. We just did this. We did the exact same thing in December. We said, look, players are going to go out. We need to have players to come in.
Then we get a game canceled because I
don't know. We're not getting games canceled now, right? That's not happening. So that's old news, but but it's Champions League.
Got it. Right? Got it. Understood. 100%. This next season is not going to be a marathon. They always say the league is a marathon. It's going to be 2 sprints next season because of the World Cup. Tony, what makes a good season for Arsenal next season?
Well, I think Matt and Gary have low expectations because fourth with the money you're spending, 4th should be the requirement.
A minimum of 4th.
Third,
a minimum of 4th.
You can't get Champions League without top 4 or a trophy.
Not to finish 4th,
but
to finish in
that's good.
4.
No,
I said.
You're spending.
Yeah.
You're going to be spending around 200 million. So
every club spending, Tony. You've got Liverpool and City who have billion-pound squads. Look at what the money they're spending. You're spending just to keep up.
Yeah.
Who outspent them though? Nobody outspent us last summer. Nobody's
December said Diaz, Nunez, and Jota just need big game experience, and transition should be smooth for Liverpool. Helen, I will say one thing, and I don't know what you think about this, Helen, is I think you're letting your midfield fester, if that's the wrong word, but you're not.
I think you're over focused on that. Right?
Looks like you're not improving your midfield with a big signing.
We haven't improved our midfield in 4 years, so
okay.
Carry on.
Partey is an improvement. Is that what you're saying? Is Partey not an improvement? Because he's the best thing we got.
We've only seen,
and we just picked him up. This is his 3rd year with us. Yes, he hasn't been healthy, but that is an improvement.
How many months have we seen with Partey that we bought?
But you just said it's not an improvement. I'm telling you, it is. We can talk about injuries, yes, but we
Our
did try to
midfield
improve.
is a major problem.
You know.
Buying one guy doesn't fix it. Now he's 29.
Top 3 is within reach. Exactly, Nick Knack. I think that's where I'm going to set my targets at, looking at the landscape.
You need to be buying a Partey replacement this window.
We'll have to see what United and Chelsea do, but for me, top 3 is something that should be in our targets right now. Mr. Tom is lead starting again from scratch. Well, they're going to lose 2 players and probably buy quite a few more than 2 players with all of that money. I'm really curious to see if Jesus settles
Well,
for preseason.
Peter. Yeah? What you saying? No. I'm phoning Simeone. You just don't want to get the job done, do you? You're taking forever with transfers. Okay, bye, bitch.
You still have his number? I thought he would have blocked you by now.
I suppose we need transition from a Premier League team with champions.
I'm too lovable. He keeps calling me, and I keep telling him the same thing. I'm talking to Simeone rather because this guy is spent 400 million, and if he doesn't get top 4, top 3, unacceptable. Get out of my life.
Does anyone think that Jesus will not hit the ground running for Arsenal?
No, I think he'll pick up very, very
I think
quickly.
he'll pick up quick enough.
I
Yeah,
think he's gonna-
might
I
even
think he's
score
gonna-
away at Palace in the first game. Tony's thinking about it.
He should.
Stick or twist, Tony.
He should.
Chelsea seems to be on the decline. Yeah. Okay, so that's Gabriel Jesus. That's our league fixtures this coming season. Matt, I'll go clockwise. We are building a team that should be able to sustain long cup runs. And a league.
Yeah, and this is where, for all the criticism of Nketiah, the money, arguable, 100 grand a week's a lot of money. But ultimately, we need squad depth. At the end of last season, he did bag a good number of goals and a decent number of games. His return was quite good once he had a run of games in the team.
Purple patch. Purple patch. Purple patch.
Purple patch.
False alarm.
I didn't hear a word of that.
Purple patch, Eddie. I think.
Purple
Was
patch.
Well, do you know what? He didn't have a good run of games. He got 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, and then he suddenly got a run of games, and we got a return from him. So the amount we're paying for him, it is a lot of money, and we'll see whether that's paid off or not. But he's going to be probably playing cup games and rotating through the season for injuries and for keeping fresh legs. But yeah, we desperately need depth, and we look at how we struggled towards the end of last season with injuries. We were one injury away from a shipwreck, basically, and we really struggled in those last games. We were on the skeleton staff, for the last few games, and we struggled. So it's pretty obvious with cup competitions back in the fold again. It's not just the Premier League. You've got domestic cup competitions, you've got the Europa League again. We have to have that depth. So it's not even an option to go and buy players. We have to. Yeah. And we are starting to build that. And we're going to need numbers. So it wouldn't surprise me if we do see a few more signings come in, because we are still needing depth in a few positions yet to sustain that.
Striker being the key in there.
Ivan Toney.
We'll have to see if there's more money in the back of that sofa, I hear. Steve.
Yeah. I was looking. I found a little bit. I think I found about like a 500k there. So just guys, let me know your offshore accounts, please. Everybody in the chats, your offshore accounts.
Phone
send it to Gundit News.
So we're gonna
ask Ray for my number.
We're going to be on the phone.
Any of the guys for my Twitter handle.
We're going to be on the phone a lot this season. Hopefully, we see this a lot coming from Jesus and
Absolutely.
Eddie.
I
don't think we'll have a squad depth for the domestic cups. It's Europa League and Premier League or bust. Look at it this way: first part of the season will be a little bit of Carabao Cup, a lot of Europa League and Premier League. the FA Cup will not come into it till the new year. So, hey, we'll take it game by game. Isn't that what all the professionals say? Take it game by game.
Yep.
Gary, building a squad, two for every position. You
Yeah,
getting there?
yes, that's the only way it's going to work. Right, we're already talking about, we need to be able to have depth when the World Cup comes, right? So yeah, we need to have two at every spot, and or versatility as well, right? Works as well. So that's why that Martinez looks like a good pickup as well if we get him. So I mean, I think we have versatility. I think we just sometimes use it in the wrong way. So we'll see. But yeah, two in every spot. I mean, I don't. As much as yes, we've got Nketiah, but do we have two strikers? I don't. Some would say probably not. Right. But we've got one or two. We're one or two deep, but we're too deep basically at the wings. Right. We could do better if we get Rafinha, but we're too deep there.
We need something in the middle.
Erdegaard has Vieira behind him. Xhaka should have somebody in front of him. Partey and Sambi.
I like what you did there. I like that.
Sambi and Partey. That's right there. And then on the outside, right? If we get that Martinez, we get Martinez. That'd be some coverage on the outsides, right, on the back line, and Saliba's coming in. So I think we've got a decent number of number twos. Players coming off the bench that can do a job that we would expect to start for us as well too. That's the thing I don't think we have, right? We had last season. We just didn't have players that they could start for us. We've got players now, I think, that will start for us, right? All the new players that we come in at the least can start for us in a pinch. If not, they might just take a spot, which I would like to see that. I'd like to see one of these new players come in and take a spot that we don't expect. All right.
Absolutely. I think we all know who the Deadwood is. We don't need to really get into too much of Deadwood. I think the Deadwood might extend even up to Pepe, which I think is decent.
He's not dead.
That's unfortunate.
Some of the things I don't like about Arteta, he hasn't been able to use some of the players he dislikes that he should have used, namely Pepe. But we tried to get that top four probably by running Saka into the ground. Now we need to get Rafinha in to help him. We will offer new contracts to who we can sell loan and free transfers for those who we can't loan or offer new contracts to. I was just smiling a little bit before because it does seem like the two negative, the more negative part of the circle end up on the bottom row. Mahir and Tony.
Tony, you and I are broechies. In Afrikaans, that's blood brothers. Or get out, still, fam. Get out of here. You don't know what you're doing, bitch.
Mahir, I'll ask you the same question, and then Tony, can we sustain long drives in the run in the cups as well as the league?
Bringing in two midfielders in Yuri Tillemans and Neves, and then along with Vieira and Partey, I think that should be solid enough. And I would like, I'm sure Tony, you as well. I'm sure we would like another young striker, aka Ivan Tony.
Tony.
Yes, sir. Because it's realistic.
I wouldn't Tony either. There might be some question mark against his temperament. He's done a couple of questionable things.
Sorry, Ray. I don't mean to be rude with you guys, but we need a few nasty bastards in our team.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's rephrasing somebody. If that's my own words, I'll gladly take it.
I think Jesus will be that player to opposing fans. I think a lot of our opposing fans, United and Chelsea fans, are triggered by Jesus coming to Arsenal. So,
even along the lines of
that kind of attitude as well,
No, you know what? Think about it. There's a player on our radar and our one of our targets called the Butcher. That is what we were talking about. That's what you're talking about.
Do we really need another?
Jesus isn't the Butcher, man. But if your name is the Butcher, That's what we're looking for as well, right?
Do we have any
want the
forwards?
talent, but we want something like the Butcher to come in.
Do we have any forwards who can hold up the ball? If Jesus is given the right kind of ball, he can hold. He can definitely hold up to the ball and bring players in. I don't think we have what you would call a classic target man, but I don't know if the English game is really going that way either. I would send Pepe out on the loan to see if he can regain some form and raise his value. So,
Arteta
Tony,
doesn't like
talking
him.
Tony, talking about players that we may not like, Rafinha could be one of those players. We're going to like him if we get him, but he's one of those players that's going to opposing fans will not like because he's good.
Yeah, I think we got a few of them. We got it's all to be Brazilians. We got Gabriel. Now we'll have Jesus. Then you'll have Rafinha. So you'll have three
Gabriel
bastard
Magalhaes,
Brazilians.
Gabriel Jesus,
Yeah.
Gabriel Martinelli.
Yeah. That Brazil shirt. When Tony hands out the Don Juan man in a match and he holds up a Brazil shirt, like
I'm not to
5
get more than just my hoodie.
Marquinhos is another one.
Yeah.
Who else? So
Rafinha,
30% of our squad
Jesus,
is Gabriel, and then we got Marquinhos.
Gabriel. Yeah.
Then you throw in the two Portuguese players on top of it.
Somebody put a tweet out, Mayor.
Can I answer the question first?
Yeah. Say over when you're done, okay?
You never asked me. You never went to me on the stupid.
Tony, I'm with you. I know he
Multiple
doesn't like you.
Don't
I mean,
need to
when
move.
are you
Yeah,
going to
have
figure
to.
this thing out?
We need a sub. We need a substitution.
Gary won't let me speak, so
I can make 5 subs, right, Tony?
yeah. I'm
Oh,
gonna mention that in this part.
Stan,
But-
where are you?
Starting off, we're talking about 2 strikers. You always need 3. Do any of us think Eddie to push Jesus to do more? That he's gonna be looking over his shoulder. Oh, Eddie's overtake me. No, you need to go get another striker.
Competition.
Can't have Granite Xhaka in your team because fucking numbnuts Arteta's a
Ruthless
playing
ass dog water player.
in the squad. We need 2 more central midfielders.
Yeah,
We need left back cover. I think we need right back cover
yeah.
because I think Tamiyasu might be right in there with Tierney on getting injuries because multiple muscle injuries, different legs, different.
Nuno's not
heart
good enough.
rates.
Oi,
But-
oi, oi. Leave
But
Nuno alone.
Arteta, we seen last year multiple competitions. Arteta didn't rotate, stuck to the same 13 players. I don't see him changing much this season. I think he's going to play players until the wheels come off. And it's going to be even worse because there's a World Cup coming up. Really congested fixtures. You got FA Cup. You got Europa picking up then. You're going to be playing constantly. You're going to be playing every 2 or 3 days. These guys are going to be getting tired. So you got to make use of your 5 substitutions.
Yes.
You got to be taking guys off at 30 minutes. I would be bringing off 3 players at 60 minutes every game. 70 minutes, make another one. And probably 75th, make your last one.
is it?
Arteta has to learn that. He hasn't learned that yet. I like these guys. I'm going to keep playing them until the wheels fall off. You see what happened last year? We didn't invest in January, and the wheels fell off. We didn't have many, and as in a whole, we led the league in the least injuries. So we can't blame injuries. We just had a thin squad because Arteta cut players, want to play players. The year before, he was bitching that we had too many players. Then he's bitching we didn't have enough players last year. This year, he says he wants 24 or 25 players. In Europe, you can register 29. So I'd have 29 players that could play. I don't want to see Patino and all these guys that were never to play be on the lineup. I want to see a bench full of players that can come in. And I want to see Arteta use them. But is that going to happen? Probably not.
That's a perfect segue to Saliba.
Can I ask something? Like,
Yeah.
David Ornstein retweeted a report on the on an article on Jesus agreeing to 5 years. Is that close to like it's a done deal? Right?
That's
We
Ornstein
know it's a
actually
done
retweeted
deal, Gary.
Huh?
So we know it's a done deal.
Yeah, yeah. He didn't say it himself, but he did retweet an article from Athletic that said it. So I have a feeling that's as close to a done deal, right?
Yeah.
So sorry about
Subject to
that.
the medical, right, Gary?
Yeah, yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
we should see the announcement.
Well, let's go. We'll save Rafinha for the end, but I think Tony might have segued perfectly to Saliba. All right, Tony.
Yeah.
We'll start off with Gary.
Yep.
Looks like Saliba is going to get it. He's going to get to play a competitive game for Arsenal.
Yeah, and also hopefully it looks like he's at least talking about signing a contract. We'll see if it happens because I think that's what Arsenal wants as well. So yeah, no, I think he deserves his shot. He deserves the opportunity to come in and play for Arsenal. See if he can take a spot. But I mean, he's more. I don't think he has more to do as far as what on loan. I mean, we're considered one of the best in the league, right? For first 11 at least, or at least the young first 11. And like you said, he's an international, so that's what you want. So the loan worked perfectly if that's what they wanted. Now it's time to show that he's got something to bring to Arsenal, and he can push these guys because once again, like Tony said, you need to be looking over your shoulder, knowing that the guy behind you is he wants your spot as well. So it's up to him, to take that spot and go. We'll go from there. That'd be nice to have a rotation of those three players, regardless, right? We're gonna. And if we do have to go to a back three, we go to a back three with him. Maybe I don't know.
Martinez, maybe Lisandro might be in there as well.
Yeah, but like he can play in front of them, right? Martinez can play in front of that back four or back.
He can play midfield. He can play left back. He can play left center defender.
But we're talking about Saliba. Remember, let's stay on target here, Ray. Keep bearing off, right? We're talking about Saliba.
Gary's the one that always bears off, but he's fucking.
Hey, stop it, Tony! I didn't need your 5 cents. Stop it.
Mahir, did you want to say something, Mahir?
No, I just wanted to say in regards to sorry for interrupting,
Saliba.
but in regards to the Sandro's Saliba.
Martinez,
You know what? Saliba, go and take Benjamin's spot. Go on, my guy. Come on, my G. Go and take Benjamin's spot. Sir Benjamin.
It will be interesting to see. I think Arteta likes Ben White right now. It will be interesting to see how that develops.
Benjamin
through the season.
No, man, not Benjamin. Yeah. It must be Gabriel and Saliba, and then you've got, like you guys are saying, if Martinez can play more midfield than anything, then you put like Vieira, Martinez, Partey, then you got Tielemans, then you got Neves. I mean, damn it, man. That'll be a squad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Matt, we seem to be building. That's helping as well. Saliba coming back. Look, we're never going to know. People think they know the story. You never know. Going to completely know the whole story about Saliba. He's had some issues in his young life, some tragedy, and we don't know what's been best for him. Only the player will know that. But definitely coming back to Arsenal is a good thing for us.
Yeah, I think it was fairly clear that the plan for him was to come back. I don't think, for me, it was ever the case that he was going to go and be sold. Young player, needed to get experience, had some crappy stuff happen to him in his personal life, needed to go and be where he felt more at home. Wise decision from the club. We already had two decent fullbacks two decent centre backs who had been bought to fill that gap for us that could cover those positions to allow him to move on and get some experience. And he's going to come back a much better player for it. Look how he's done. I mean, you can't say that wasn't the right move given how he's performed and how he's going to come back a much, much better player. lot more experience, got a lot of game time. I think he played pretty much every game. Did very well there. So we're going to have a real player on our hands. He's a big guy as well, mobile, big guy, good on the ball, defensively cracking. So he's really going to push those two centre backs for a position. And like you say, it's going to be really interesting to see where he fits in, who he partners with, who's going to be shifted out to allow him to move in, whether he actually pushes his way in and actually ends up being a first choice. Or simply rotation. It's going to be very, very interesting to watch how that goes this season. And given how well he's done in the French leagues, I'm going to be quite interested to watch him play and see how he develops and how he kind of adapts to the Premier League.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of kind of hope on his shoulders for how he's performed there. Whether that will translate in the Premier League in that kind of environment will be interesting to see if he hits the ground running, which you'd expect him to do. But it's only good that he comes back. It's more depth, more options. Like I said, at the end of the season, we were struggling for injuries and things like that. So that's only going to help us in more competitions to fight in. So, yeah, really good stuff.
Tony, it's going to be fascinating with a World Cup year, watching these players that we know. Some will be on the fringes of an England squad. We either have English players or we have Brazilians, right? We have a Swiss player. But it's going to be fascinating to see how that works out. Saliba will get game time, and it's going to be fascinating to see how he can do, what high-profile games he can break into, and all that good stuff,
Yeah, starting off, I'll start where Gary started off, talking about him being in the French 11. We had another player that was in the French 11, Guendouzi, never given a chance. And I don't, going on Saliba, saying we don't know the story, I still think it boils down to he wanted to go play in the French Cup final. We wouldn't let him. I don't think Arteta fancies him that much. I know in his second year with us, the coaching staff wasn't impressed with his progress. I still don't like it that he's played all 3 loan years in France. I'd rather he went to Germany, Italy, gain more experience than just France, play against tougher opponents. But it all boils down to last year we had 3 central defenders, never enough. I'm not sure if 4 is enough, especially when one of them's sure.
Well, we have 4.
Question: If we never had Saliba at our squad, and he did the exact same thing he did this past season, and Arsenal picked him up, what would you think about that move?
Ooh, it'd be like
me personally.
Yes, you, because you're the one that's going to give me something, some crazy just thought. I want to hear. I want to see what Tony. I want to see how Tony thinks.
What Tony take?
Tony knows the French national team, knows the French young center backs. I know there are about 8 of them that are great. Saliba's about 4th or 5th in there. We could have got Konate for 35 million, way less than Ben White. That's who we should have got last year. But hey, I think there's better French center backs than him. But it's an easy choice when we don't have any depth.
That's not the answer. Player. That's not. So you're saying you wouldn't have taken him? Is basically what you're trying to say.
Went and got him. I would not went and paid 35 million or whatever for him, because I think there's better French backs out there. Center backs.
Okay, that's Tony. He puts his flag in the sand and he does not remove it or move it.
At least he's got an answer who he brought in, so that's a good one, right? So yeah.
Sometimes
we'll see which one works out best for who. So
sometimes the ocean comes up and swallows his flag in the sand, and sometimes it's still standing there. Months later, it can
I'll
be right.
Dead still holding it.
It can be right.
A skeleton with a flag.
So yeah, that's Saliba. Where I think he's about to sign a new improved contract. We're going to improve his terms. He's going to come back and play for Arsenal, and I, for one, think that's a good thing. Anyone who's joined us, breaking news is Fabrizio Romano has tweeted And here we go. Gabriel Jesus is 100% done. 5-year contract. And medical is debatable for early this week, but if probably the PR stuff will come out Friday. Is that what, am I right in saying that? I know you guys were saying something about Friday next week. But yeah, that's the deal. Last order on the table, Matt, is Rafinha. You know, we have to. There's some players that are hanging out there like Tielemans. We've gone away from that for a little bit. Martinez, I think, is moving quite well, but Rafinha as well. It seems like we are in pole position right now for Rafinha.
Yeah, I think he was. I know Barcelona were looking to be interested in him, and I think there was quite a bit of conversation going on there. But I think they've obviously dropped out of that from what I've seen anyway, and we seem to have now landed in pole position to get his signature. I think, like everyone's already said, it's the money that they're asking for. I think the last time I heard was something like 60 to 70 million. By the time all the add-ons had been added into the equation, which is that's a significant amount of money. Would I pay that much for him personally? Questionable. I think I'd probably pay up to kind of the 55, 60 million tops. Not sure he's worth 60 to 70 million, but you know what? He is a fantastic player. He would certainly level up our squad. He would give a lot of kind of rest and kind of rotation to Saka, who was desperately needed that last season, played every game, was absolutely on his knees by the end of the season, and even about 3/4 of the way through the season, he was absolutely cream crackered. So it's not my money. I think if we can go and get him, then absolutely we should go and do that. I think he would be a fantastic addition to the squad, very exciting. I think, like Mahir mentioned earlier, we do need some nasty type players, and I think he's got that little bit of attitude that sometimes you need in a squad. I think you've seen it a few times in some of the Leeds games where he's kind of got that bit of aggression in him, which I think we do need. But then we've got to be quite careful with that because we can't be too two-faced about aggression in games when we've been criticising Xhaka for that. So it's how you go about it. But yeah, he's the type of player that I'd be very excited to see in our squad. And like I say, when you're trying to build squad harmony, having someone with the same nationality, all of that is great. So yeah, brilliant. I think if we can go and get him, absolutely go and do it.
There's a lot of reasons why he would come to us. I know he's not probably our first. We're not his first preferred destination. Barcelona would be, but next best thing is an enclave of Brazilians within the club that's going to help him.
Gary, be playing football. Why not back to some of the Arsenal football of old? If we can get some of that spark and flair, I'm happy to see that in our front and our attacking line for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Gary, Barcelona doesn't have the money for Rafinha. And if they did, they would probably use it on Lewandowski or someone else. I know United are going to buy De Jong, right?
Yeah.
Which may give Barcelona the cash to do something, but I think they're going to put that towards Lewandowski, leaving us maybe in pole position for Rafinha. Gary's had to talk to his boss right now.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just got.
Did you get the answer for this question from your boss?
The kids are talking to me, and I didn't even have a chance to pause. They were talking. You would have heard what they had to say. Nothing bad, but just Now we talk about Rafinha, right? And Barcelona. Yeah, I was gonna say, I know Tony answered the question, but who realistically can we get? Because I think he named a player that plays for Arsenal. Is that right? So, is there a player you can answer it when it's your turn, Tony? But I don't. What legitimate player can we get at the Saliba level that actually is a young French defender? But I'll let you answer that when it's your turn. So yeah, in terms of Rafinha and Barcelona, yeah, it's not. Here's the thing: Arsenal wants to figure this thing out quickly so they can move on. For me, anyways, does he want Barca or Barca? Does he want to? Or does he want to, play for Arsenal? Because if he wants Barcelona, no matter what, he's going to be looking looking out the door every chance he gets. He has a bad game or a bad set of games. Will he be looking out the door? So I kind of felt like Barcelona, like you said, just doesn't have either the money or the ability or a spot for him, right? I think there's two parts to this whole thing: whether they have the money, and whether they can actually, whether you can actually sign for them. I think I don't know, but yeah,
Where is he in the pecking order? Because there's some discussion about Saka and Martinelli being competition for Rafinha.
Here we go.
Right.
I got a solution to that.
Yeah, no. Here's the thing: if you bring him in, he starts. What does that do for your next player? I don't care. Right? You bring in a player that can start for you. It only makes your squad better, right? Now your ceiling has gone up, or your floor has gone up. Take your pick, whatever you want to, however you want to look at it. That's better for the squad, right? Everything gets better, and I keep saying it, and I keep repeating myself. They don't
Nobody's listening.
They don't need to be playing as many games, and we don't need to lean on them as much as we do, right? Saka, we don't want 19, 20-year-old Saka right now playing like a 22, 23 Saka, right? We want when it's 22, 23 and his body's actually filled into this Premier League style of football. That's the one I want, all right? We keep talking about we might lose him. We might lose him if he stays and gets injured. We might lose him if he stays and, I guess we burn him out, right? So I think it's good for the squad, and he can play anywhere, so it's not like he necessarily is going to be sitting that often. They can fill him in. He can start. So, yeah. So, like I said, I say bring in the best. If you can improve, we missed out. Hopefully days of, like, scoring less than 70 goals are gone, all right? That doesn't help us. And, all the teams above us on the table and some behind us, they have scorers that can score, and that's what we need. You bring in Jesus, you bring in Rafinha, you should be laughing at, well, can we score enough goals? I think we can, and then you rotate. If you have to rotate in a Milsufro, Saka, Martinelli, you're laughing if that's what you got right behind them.
Yeah, that's depth then. You know what I mean?
So, I think I would take that any day. And you're going to show them with the contract whether or not you want to keep them anyways, right? So Saka is deserving of a new contract and some monies, So, whether he wants to stay on, I think if he wants to go, this would be like at least the team has done their due diligence, right? If he wants to leave and they have Rafinha in his place, it's not that bad, all right? But everybody keeps saying that he wants Arsenal, so it shouldn't matter who they bring in if that's the case. So it can't be loyalty one day and then not loyalty the other day. You know what I mean?
If we get Rafinha, even if we keep him for a couple of years, sell him on to Barcelona when they do have the money, I'm okay with that as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, by that time, and if Saka improves based on what we've seen, maybe his finishing will get better. We won't be talking about he's burning out again, right?
Yeah.
He's burning out, and he won't do that. He'll just be coming in fresh when he comes in, and I like to see a fresh, Saka come in, with improved finishing, right, and looking to score a little bit more, because that's, we've been seeing this gradual improvement over the last 2 years, right? 3 years, 2 years. I expect to see the same thing, less minutes, more production. I think that's not a hard thing to ask. Especially when the team's playing the way they do, and you're going to have a Jesus in front or Rafinha. Do it.
It's looking good. It's a great time to be an Arsenal fan, like I started off the podcast saying. Great time. Mahir, you had something to say?
I was going to say to you guys, here's the solution. So you're playing Saka in his base position, which is probably on the right side, right?
Yeah.
Then you're playing Rafinha on the left-hand side. And you're playing Martinelli and Jesus up front. That's why I was making the motions of right-hand side, left-hand side, and the two up top. And then behind him, you've got a list of a whole lot of players. You've got Emile Smith-Rowe, you've got Odegaard, you've got Fabio Vieira and Partey just behind the two of them. If you can get a Tielemans in and a Neves, and you could switch any of those four. So it'll be like a 4-4-2. and like there'd be an abundance in depth. I think it'd be sick. I would just love to see that happen, and I'm just waiting, praying, fingers crossed, toes crossed. What else can I cross? Can I cross my ears as well?
Yeah,
And my beard.
You can try.
definitely. Cross.
Toast up my beard as
Okay.
well.
Whatever you can do, let's do it. Tony, your thoughts on Rafinha, and then we're going to talk a little bit about, you know, how Arsenal should be Ruthless FC going into the season. So, Tony, Rafinha.
I think with having Martinelli, having Saka, having Smith Rowe, he's definitely not a priority. I'd be worrying about a second striker first. He's a good player.
Stan, you have an extraordinary woman, not an ordinary woman or a normal woman, an extraordinary one. Tony?
But to me, he's going to be a priority. He's going to be a good signing if we do get him. But to me, it's just we need a number 2 striker way more than we need another winger. I'll keep it short.
Right. Matt here, he might be back. But listen, Gary, Sundays, we're going to be playing the Europa League Thursdays, but Sundays will be a day of worship, and we will be talking to Jesus. And
we'll be screaming at Jesus if he doesn't score.
I hope not.
It sounds crazy, right? Jesus is not scoring today. Doesn't even make any sense, but especially on a Sunday. So it'll be good to
We
see.
can call next season the resurrection, can't we?
There we go.
Congratulations to Dave's LFC chats. We just passed 3,000 subscribers. So, listen, anyone's out there doing that, Gary, you're doing it. So keep grinding. That's the thing. Keep doing your thing, and we'll keep doing our thing here. Matt, it's going to be exciting season, and
I am excited. Finally we're getting a summer that we can all get behind, players that we can all get behind, a bit of excitement for the new season, to think that we actually, might start well and actually have a consistent season and have enough depth to actually drive through and achieve our goals. I think, it is exciting. We've got players that are of quality, that you can actually, a proven quality as well. We're not just going dipping abroad all the time. We're getting Premier League proven players as in that mix that we're looking to buy, which is great. I'm really excited to see how these players are gonna integrate into the team this year. Like we said, Saliba coming back into the team, having had a great season abroad. Rafinha, how he's going to fit in if we get him. Jesus, is he going to hit the ground running like we'd expect him to? And how many goals is he going to get? Fabio Vieira, for me, an unknown quantity to some degree. So how's he going to fit in, and what's he going to do for us? So it is exciting. There's going to be lots of talking points, I think, over this next season.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's going to be an exciting one. Gary, what makes Arsenal attractive to these players? I feel we've done the work in stripping the squad down. We haven't liked it. We've actually opened up vacancies where these players can look and see, Arsenal need a striker. Arsenal maybe need another winger. Arsenal need a midfielder who can do what Granit Xhaka does. Arsenal might need a left back. So are we more appealing because of that? I'm thinking about, we're up against United for Martinez. We're up against Spurs, that team, Chelsea, for Jesus or Rafinha.
Yeah,
Are
definitely.
we making ourselves attractive by showing them where they can play and they have a route into the team?
Definitely. I mean, there's a lot of holes to fill. So if you feel like you can fill one of those, or you're playing in one of those holes that could be filled, you're gonna want to come. And also, the money is attractive when they come. So Arsenal does like to pay.
Mm-hmm.
So, but no, what you've seen, right, is 3 young talents also there. So you're figuring, that has something to do with what's going on, right? So that the young talent that they have is good when it's healthy. I'm gonna have to caveat that, right? When they're healthy, it's really good. But there's definitely there's a place for you right now. Hopefully, those number of holes won't be there going forward. As we look back years from now, but there are spaces for everybody, and you can make a name for yourself. And like you said, the quality of players that we bring in if we do have to let them go, it's not going to be like before where we can't sell them because they're not. Sometimes they're just not. They're not ready. You don't need them anymore, so you're going to
Yeah,
move on,
wasn't the
right? So
plan.
if in a year or two from now, when Saka definitely is a starter for Arsenal, and you have to let somebody go, then you do that, all right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
Um,
it's like you said, it's definitely welcoming for those players.
when you look at what we did last season, and you're looking at what we're bringing in, Jesus, Rafinha, possibly Tielemans, Martinez, it's even more astounding what we got from the team last season. From, like we say, Emil Smith Rowe and Saka providing most of the goals for us. So, Matt, with this is the final point. We'll round out with these comments. And thanks everybody for watching. It's been a great podcast. Great to have you back, Matt, as well after a few weeks off. But Matt,
It's very welcome, Ray. I've missed it.
you've been able to talk a lot to get everything out in the last few weeks that's happened. And a lot's been going on. And we're moving fast. I think it's making Gary smile a little bit. Arsenal are moving the way Gary's wanted Arsenal to move. It's almost like we don't recognize this Arsenal. Um, I think Arteta's got something to do with it. He's got the ear of the owners. Edu's helping. He may not be as useless as we were thinking.
Well, they said before they had a plan, and then we looked at it and went, "Well, you didn't do anything," or "Why is this plan taking so long?" And I'm hoping because they did absolutely nothing in terms of incoming in January that's why we're here. But that should be the case for Arsenal going forward. Get your business done early and move on, and let's go. Right?
Yeah, we do think Vieira is a little bit slight. I think the Premier League will help him bulk up. He's one of those players that opposing players will want to put something on him.
100%. He's got like that Danny Ceballos kind of build, very, very slender, very
So Matt,
but the trick is if he's quick enough to get away from it, though, right? No matter what you do, he's and then I have seen him in some of the shots on YouTube get knocked down and get back up. So it's not like they don't bully you over where he was playing before. So I kind of feel like he's going to.
What we want to see as well is a little bit more protection for our star boy Saka. He's not got a lot of protection from the referees last season.
No.
Anyway, moving to the final point, Matt. The last 2 seasons, we will have paid probably the most money in the last 2 summers. With that comes some responsibility in terms of results. The pressure's going to be on, and we're going to have to justify this payment of what we've outlaid in the last. I think Mahir said close to $500 million if we keep spending like this.
Yeah, it's for me. This is the crunch season. I've said a season or 2 ago when all of this kicked off, I didn't expect big things to happen straight away. I was quite patient. I said, well, look, you to clear the decks, to get new players in, to build a new foundation, to create a culture, to be able to build that process. It's not a quick, easy thing to do. It's going to take at least 2, 3 seasons, 4 seasons to get there. I think, now the foundations have been laid last season. We've cleared a lot of deadwood. We were able to clear some of the wages and get rid of some of the troublemakers and those that weren't performing. We've now added that stardust, so to speak, or we're doing that this summer. I think this season, as I said last season, this season now for me is the real test as to whether this plan and this process has legs. And he absolutely has to hit top 4 this season. At the very, very minimum, to justify his position, with the money he's spent, with the time he's been given, the trust he's been given in what he's been doing. This is crunch time now. You can't go and spend that amount of money, go through last season and, make and fall behind 4th when we had the opportunity to do that. Given that 3-year process or 2-3 season process to do that, this is now the time. You've got your tools. This is your squad. You spent that money. These are all your decisions. Now you have to go and prove that process you have is going to work. Yeah. So, big big pressure this season, I think, for Arteta to get this right and make sure
Definitely.
we achieve.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Gary, you have to leave in a second if you want to finish with that point, or if you just want to say your goodbyes. It's okay, whichever.
I got like 5 minutes or so. So I don't know what the comment. Yeah, just giving you a heads up. Yeah.
We need to act like Ruthless FC if we're going to act like that off the field and getting acquisitions in.
Yes.
We have to start the season. We have to start preseason well, and we have to hit the ground running. Everybody doesn't want another 3 losses to start the season.
Oh, definitely. And I don't know if you guys want it or not, but I kind of felt like
Russ sends his best to you.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, you know what? I mean, could it be the case? It could be the case that we don't know our starting 11. All right, we know who Jesus is gonna play, but right now we don't know if there'll be some other changes as well to our starting 11 if everybody's healthy. So that should be good and promising, right? Vieira could show us could show Arteta something that he might want to showcase. So yeah. This is good.
Way in,
yeah. So we've got and this is what we want: competition, right? So, we've still got 2 or 3 more players. Hopefully, we bring in and healthy players, and the players we already have.
I want us to come back for Tielemans as well. I think that's waiting for us to go back.
I think we don't want to pay the amount that they want, but I felt like for me, as Tony said, there's certain non-negotiables, and midfield and striker should have been those non-negotiables, right?
Mm-hmm.
And starting non-negotiables, I don't think Vieira right now is considered a starter, whereas Tielemans right now coming in would be considered a starter for us, no problem, right? Whether or not Arteta allows that to happen is that's the big question. But yeah, we know that he can start in the league and probably should if you bring him in. So yeah, that would be good to have. So,
everything is set in place for Arteta. There can be no excuses. The club has backed him. The ownership has backed him. It could be the resources we freed up to be able to allow Edu and Arteta to go get the targets. These are players that we're not thinking they're substandard. We're thinking, these are prime. These are players in their prime. Premier League in some instances, Premier League ready, and good talents in Europe as well. In Vieira, Martinez. He's called the Butcher of Amsterdam, but he's 5'9". So Stan the Man is very interested to see how that works out. Yeah. Hopefully we can beat Man United to a signature. Hopefully we can beat that team to Rafinha, or Barcelona to Rafinha. And we've gotten Gabriel Jesus in the door. So Tony, as always, you get the privilege of landing us. Go for it, Tony. Bringing us back down to earth. That's what Tony does really well.
Yeah, like Gary said, we have non-negotiables. Getting 2 strikers in should have been that. Getting 2 central midfielders should be that. I think we're going to be up for disaster if we go into the year with only Gabriel and Nketiah as strikers. You always need 3. Even if you bring somebody like Balogun back in,
there's
that's
the flag.
Not good enough.
There's that flag you're planting, right?
I'm a guy on Iajima. You see holding the flag.
Yes.
But hopefully we end up targeting those players. I don't really like the order we're going about this. Rafinha, he would be going to Barcelona, but they're kind of restricted by players they can register it because they've got part of their cash injection now. I think they've got 300 million euros in for selling half a quarter of the TV.
1/8.
Yes, 1/8 of their TV revenue.
Reddy Sarkar said, "Cheers, guys! Great stuff as always." I've dropped the link in there if anyone wants to come backstage and talk. I personally can stay for a few minutes, but I'm sure the lads will stick around a bit longer.
Yeah, I think I'm going to let you know. I'm going to just try to head out. At least now, I might be. If you're still around, I'll see if you're around. But otherwise, I'm going to say my goodbyes now.
All right, Gary, thank you.
Everyone, thank you in the chats. We'll talk.
I'll
talk to you guys later.
He was supposed to bring balance to the force.
Yeah.
Bye, Gary.
So Ray, Matt, Tony. I know
Cheers,
Mahir was
Gary.
here. Everybody else, I'll see you
Thanks, Gary.
on the next one. Yeah.
So I'm just going to recap what's been going on. Fabrizio Romano has tweeted, and for me, that's good enough. Here we go, right? Gabriel Jesus is 100% done. 5 year, what is it, Matt? 5 years, 220, something like that, 1,000 a week. Medical coming.
Where's the deal? It doesn't say, because the tweet I've liked just says, 5-year deal, 45 million fee, and something around 190 grand a week, something like that.
And the bonuses, of course, hopefully there's an incentive there to push it up. Goal bonuses, win bonuses, all that good stuff, Tony. So that's news. Gabriel Jesus done. We hope Rafinha to follow.
I want to pay any striker over 200,000 base salary. That'd be about 175, and everything else is bonuses.
I think
I definitely want to have Eddie on 100 grand a week. That's just.
All right. I really enjoyed this podcast. They're always fun when your club is doing things that you like, winning games in the season. But if we can't be playing games in the season, then we have to get W's off the field, and we got a W with Gabriel Jesus. I think he's going to give us some good moments this coming season. We can't stop there, of course. Rafinha. We want to make Alex from Cannon Fodder TV think it's more like a 9 or a 10, 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 window, right? And of course, I keep forgetting about Lissandro Martinez. So, listen, great podcast. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Tony.
You just want me to go buy more Brazil shirts.
And Gary. Tony, what?
So, do you want me to go buy more Brazil shirts? I can do a Don Juan.
Yeah. You either have to have an English shirt or a Brazil shirt. Mr. Tom was waiting backstage to join us. Come and see us. Anyone out there who's watching, grab that StreamYard link. Lolo pioneered this, so I stole his idea, and I think it's a good one to actually come and meet.
I thought you were the innovator, Ray.
I'm not an innovator. I just repeat and duplicate. That's me, R&D. Thanks, everyone. Let's hope Arsenal have more good news for us starting next week. And until then, come on, you Gunners.
This week, Ray. We'll week.
See you. This week. Here we go again. This week it is. Plant that flag.